Yogis, I hope you're having a fabulous day. I'm here with Mandy Habiner. Hello, Mandy.
Hi, Lauren.
How are you?
Well, thank you. Excited to be here.
We just love yoga.
Yeah, can't get enough of it, really.
And that's why I've invited Mandy, because we actually spent all day yesterday working on some projects amongst doing yoga and did some teaching. We ended up tag team teaching last night. We had a lot of fun. So we just wanted to bring some of those components today to you. So today's video is actually going to be about using blocks in your practice. So Mandy's going to take us through a few of her tips. So over to you, Mandy.
Great, thank you.
What would you want to first just tell people if they don't have a block, what's something they could use?
Yeah, so if you don't have any blocks lying around home, some books will do the job just fine. Just make sure you've got two kind of even sized books and that will do the job. Yep. Anything else that's shaped like this and pretty solid will be fine. Awesome. So you're going to work a little bit into some ways that you can strengthen through the core region using the blocks today. So the first one I'll begin in is our bridge pose. So for this one, you could take the block on one of two levels generally. It's going to be the really skinny level or on the second level. This one's generally going to be too wide. It'll take the knees wider than the hips for the average population. So I take the block, I squeeze it in between my thighs, soles of the feet are pressing down into the floor, and I'm really going to start to engage my legs and squeeze that block together as I start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. And what's happening here is it's engaging more through my belly, and it's also encouraging an internal rotation of my thighs here, which frees up my lower back and also softens the glutes a little bit. So rather than really strongly squeezing through those glutes, which a lot of us have a tendency to overuse, you're really getting that thigh engagement, working into the stabilizers in the body. So that's one pose that I like to do.
I think that comes up a lot as well, doesn't it? In back bending, a lot of people are prone to clenching.
I think it's healthy to have a light engagement of the glutes, but not to be like squeezing them so much that it also can create tension in your lower back when you really start to squeeze them together. So block's a good tool.
Less clenching.
Yeah, more softness.
Beautiful. So we love supported bridge. What else have we got for us today?
Another one which is really good, going directly into the core, just one block for this one, is our boat pose, Navasana. Okay, so you could squeeze the block again on any of those two levels, use the hands for support to begin, and then you would start to lift up here. And again, it's a really strong squeeze of that block in, and straight away you'll feel your core working. There's really no way to avoid it. If you avoid it, you're going to birth the block. So use the block if you need to encourage your core to turn on in Navasana, boat pose.
And what's really interesting is, I know that as teachers we notice when clients are in class and you'll have the block between your legs, and all of a sudden the mind will wander, which, as we know, it can often happen when we're practicing yoga, and that's the whole point, is that we're trying to bring the mind back to the present. And so you'll find that when the mind wanders, the block will often drop because we've forgotten to keep those muscles engaged, which is telling us that perhaps we're moving into the practice and forgetting about those really main points where we should be engaging. And so it's a nice way to sort of bring us make us even more mindful as we're practicing, I find.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a really, really great way to do that, and it's quite fun as well, and I sometimes like to throw this into classes, and that's to do full sun salutations with the block in between your legs. So I'm going to do one of those just to show you. Always a lot of fun. So again, we take the block on that kind of skinny level, and quite high up in the thighs we start to squeeze the block together straight away.
And you want to make sure it's not shooting all the way out the front here, because you will be coming down towards the floor, so majority of the block is out towards the back end.
Backside. So we begin in Tadasana and just flow through a normal sun salutation, reaching the arms for the sky, folding forward from the hips the whole time, keeping that strong engagement of the legs. Inhale to look up, and then from here you could either hop back in one big hop or you could take a few hops. But the main thing is you want to hold on to that block that whole time. From here you would lower down. You might do chaturanga, or you could come all the way down onto the floor. Just keep that squeeze on nice and tight so the block doesn't pop all the way out. Finding your back bend, you might flip the toes, not critical really here. And then tuck the toes under. Through bent knees or through plank, you would come back to downward facing dog. Then to come back up to the top of the mat again, it's going to be a few hops. keeping that block. Almost lost it there, did you hear that? Inhale, looking up. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, reach for the sky. All the while squeezing in as you exhale to come down. So that's always a bit of fun, is just to play and mix up your sun salutations using props like the block for core engagement.
And then the other one we were going to talk about was even coming into a shoulder stand.
Yeah.
I think is another really great place to use it. So you can start with the lift.
Yeah, yep. Any pose really that requires you to have your legs together and to have your core turned on, a block's always going to be helpful. So just be curious in your practice. Play every now and then. Grab a block. So again, I might take it this way this time so it can sit flat on the floor. So I'll keep this squeeze on as I come up and up and up. Then I start to press into my hands. And you'll notice how slow and controlled that lift is, because my legs are really, really engaged here. And then keeping that in. And coming down.
Really important all the way down as well. To keep that there. Beautiful.
Yeah, I have one more.
Oh,
yeah, there's always one more.
Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's always more. That's why I asked you to get 2 books. Can I have my other block, please?
Second block coming right up.
Okay, so this one really is a rocket ship to developing a really deep core strength that you will need if you want to start jumping forward and back in your practice. So for this one, you bring the 2 blocks down beside the hips. We cross the ankles and we draw the knees quite tight into the chest. The hands will come down onto the block. They can be flat on the block or you can grip it. I quite like to grip it with my fingers.
It's nice to grip it to take some pressure out of the wrists.
It does as well, yeah. And then from here, you could leave the feet on the floor and just start lifting the hips up. Like doing push-ups here, really. And you really feel this in your belly straight away. And then,
she says with the biggest smile on her face.
if you want some more, you just lift the feet as well. Okay, so this is the next level. And then if you still want more, straighten out the legs to an L lift. And then it gets more challenging. Hip flexors are involved.
Really good, man.
Yeah, and then you need to come down and rest.
Cup of tea and a rest.
Cup of tea and a rest.
That's what you can do when you're at home doing yoga.
This is something else I use my blocks for. I use them as a desk at home, opening up the hips.
Yeah, or sometimes
I put
when we
my
have
laptop
meetings.
here and
laptops up on the...
Totally normal.
There you go. So many ways with blocks.
There is.
Thanks for watching. We hope you got something out of that tutorial, and make sure you keep watching because there's more with Mandy here in the library. Namaste.
Namaste.